Do the plays go the extra mile for high drama? Recently, a couple plays from Bushwick Star that I saw have moved to Manhattan. The first one is The Mad Ones, in creating Miles for Mary, have taken a normal situation of a committee of teachers putting on an annual telethon for Mary, a rising track star who died in an automobile accident, and turning into so much more, or as they vote, do more. It is interesting that this is set in the 88-89 when technology still hasn't hit anyone. When Ken tries to introduce a fancy speakerphone, he is met with resistance. I thought this was rather telling, as in the end, he will be getting the last laugh. Believe me, there are plenty of laughs here, just in the simple way they interact with each other. The Mad Ones had this subtle way of conveying humor in an apparently normal setting. Their way of acting may be low-key and realistic. There are constant over- and undertones coursing through the conversations, and this gets a major happy face. I love this thing.
The other one that Eva saw at Bushwick Star and loved is Porto, which is written by Kate Benson and directed by Lee Sunday Evans, and it's sort of set in a hipster bar in probably Williamsburg. And Porto is a youngish woman who goes there often, and there's a surly bartender, Doug the bartender, and a friendly waiter, and a new guy comes in and he's sort of a beer person. One of Porto's friends is a woman who's frequently drunk and falling off the stool, and it's just really full of life and full of intelligence, and you really root for these people. And I think Kate Benson is the greatest writer of voiceover narration, so I really enjoyed this a lot, and so did Eva. It's really two happy faces.
Greg Pierce's Cardinal is a delightful satire on capitalism and small-time life. Lydia breezes into town and bulldozes the mayor into painting the town red because a blue town in Morocco got a lot of tourists, and she's hoping this will save the town from their dire financial straits. This doesn't sit very well with Nancy, who runs a bakery with her autistic son, because she wants to keep the sign that her late husband painted, and it and then this Chinese businessman comes in and takes over the entire town, and what starts out as a good idea snowballs into an uncontrollable avalanche. Is there any way to dig themselves out of this mess and still save the town? And it's interesting because Kate Wariski, she directed Sweat, and this reminded me of Sweat, of a small town trying to, maintain themselves. So, I'm from a small town too, and I remember how urban renewal destroyed my town. So this is very relatable. There's love interests and more on Facebook.
At the Connolly is Imperfect Love, written by Brandon Cole, directed by Michael DiGiacomo, with wonderful sets and costumes by Johnny Quaranta. It's inspired by the tempestuous love of actress Eleanor Duzza and poet-playwright Gabriele D'Annunzio. It deals with the effort of the playwright, the actress, the leading man, Domenica, and the clowns to correct an improbable, impossible to play monologue that he's given Eleonora. If they could fix it, the play might go from being a tragic flop to a heroic success. However, it doesn't seem likely. Will Duzza leave him to play Nora in Ibsen's play, or will he leave her to go to Paris for slut Sarah Bernhardt? It's a great backstage comedy drama. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you will too. Happy face.
Now for two plays at the Irish Rep. Bernard McMullen's Jimmy Titanic takes place in heaven and on that ill-fated Titanic. Colin Hamill plays Jimmy Boylan, who was having a hard time getting the knack of using his angelic wings, but he had no trouble in helping to build the Titanic. He's so excited he got to be a passenger thanks to his mate, who also got his cousin a job stoking the coal. He tells all sorts of facts literally about the nuts and bolts and how the ship was actually made. Being a Titanic nut, I found that part of the play riveting. The whole heaven with Gabriel as a prankster didn't fit in with the rest of the story, but Colin Hamill is a charismatic performer, which helped enormously. Michael Gottlieb said did a first-class job of conveying the outside of the ship in the limited space of the downstairs stage of the Irish Red. If you're like me and never get tired of Titanic stories, then you will like this well enough. I'm giving it a mixed face plus. Drop the heaven bit.
Kristen Hardwick saw and reviewed Disco Pigs at Irish Rep. It's directed by Jim Hyder and it's written by Enda Walsh. It concerns, friends since birth, Runt and Pig are inseparable. The two pals are adventurers and they seem to rove around and pretending through the county Cork City. They're also searching for the Great Palace Disco, which for them is heaven, like Dorothy trying to find the wizard. It was very hard for her to understand because of Irish accents and an opaque message. But she liked the performers, she liked their energy, and she liked the choreography. So, and the audience, she felt, liked it more than she did. I'm not a big fan of Enda Walsh, so I'm not surprised she didn't like it. She gave it a mixed.
Life Jacket Theater Company, Travis Roos, Anthony Varscas, Amelia Parento, Priscilla Holbrook went down to Florida to interview the inhabitants of Miracle Village, who are all sex offenders. Travis Roos took the actual transcripts, transformed them into a trans-fixing play. Are these people redeemable and worth the second chances? Will Faith sustain them? Interspersed with the verbatim interviews are glorious hymnal songs composed by Priscilla Holbrook. The ensemble have harmonious, uplifting voices that gave their stories a different perspective. This is fascinating, as I wanted to hate these characters, but it's hard to do so with the sympathetic actors. But I wondered, what else do they have for their incidental livings? How do they have a job? And they made me want to know even more details. This is a fine show, sensitively handled. Life Jacket is turning into one of my favorite theaters now. Also at here, Talking Band is doing Fuse Form Gyrus, I don't know. Anyway, it's got Tom Nellis in it and Paul Zamet and Talking Bands going on until February 25th. So there's two good things going on at here right now. And the
highly recommended by High Drama's friend Valerie David is Josephine, a burlesque cabaret dream play performed by Tamisha Harris, directed by Michael Marinaccio, and booked by Ted Kimbrough. And it's one of the best one-woman shows I've seen. It's highly informative about Josephine Baker, the woman who escaped America for the glory of Paris to dance around naked with bananas, and later became a spokesperson for civil rights and adopted children from around the world, and was really a very, very, very interesting character. And Tamisha Harris does a great job of bringing her back to life. There's more on Facebook, including Eva's comments, so absolute happy face for this one.
Who loved it too.
Yes.
Latin History for Morons by John Leguizamo started out as a public announcement at the Roundabout. It all started when he was trying to help his son Buddy write an essay about a hero, a historical hero, and also about a bully that was annoying his son and the bully's father that was annoying him. So we hear about his novel approach to what makes a hero, because he wants him to do a Latin hero, a Hispanic hero. There's Spanish Cortez, who destroyed the Aztecs and took over Mexico. His relative Pizarro, who conquered the mighty Incas. And the point of all these destroyed Hispanic civilizations was that they never gave up despite the odds. And not only did Mr. Leguizamo make history come alive, but his family as well. He's an old-fashioned raconteur who can make everyday life exciting, relatable, and deeply moving. We get a highly entertaining and informative history lesson. You'd be a moron to miss this. You've got to February 25th. Go.
Jordan Auslander saw the most recent version of Wondershow performed by the House of Yes.
And I saw a earlier version of it, and so it changes every time you see it. So it's like this wonderful sort of circus, naughty circus.
Yeah, he describes it as vaudeville with burlesque. And it's very women-created and women-friendly. The music had an interstitial throb of 70s, 80s dance music. And, like the particular group Reformed Whores, Mary and Kate went tropical on Hollywood with guitar and uke. The part owner of the venue, Anya Saporizhnikova, did an aerial silk act. And there were many, many other things that he just thoroughly enjoyed and feels that everybody else will too.
So go to the next one, which is February 22nd, I think, but more on Facebook. Red Roses, Green Gold is a story of larceny, varmints, long-lasting loves requited or not, family inheritance, and feuds. The plot isn't important, as it is just an excuse to listen to the very talented actor musicians who can play several instruments with great virtuosity and sing up a storm literally as a thunderstorm figures very prominently in the story. The Grateful Dead songs are well integrated into the plot and singing along is encouraged. There was so much energy on and off the stage. Be warned, it was even amplified to deafness, just like a rock concert, and boy, could this cast rock. Robert Andrew Kovich's scenic design was filled with wonderful details, and Asta Benny Hofstadter outdid herself with the costumes. It was enough to awaken the dead. Rachel Klein specializes in choreography, directing out of the box and into your heart. Shows. It's closing way too soon, so get out your tie-dye and swing on by before it goes bye-bye. This gets a happy face minus.
John Lithgow's Stories by Heart, adapted and performed by Mr. Lithgow and directed by Daniel Sullivan, evolved from when his father was dying, and the only way he found to comfort him was by reading stories from the same book that his father read stories to the Lithgow kids when they were young. And he includes two stories, Haircut by Ring Lardner, which is sort of about small-town gossip, and Uncle Fred Flits by P.G. Wodehouse, which is madcap and funny. I liked Lithgow a lot more than the stories.
And I like the stories and Lithgow, so I'm giving it a happy face. But we're going to talk about it more on our next show, March 3rd, but it's closing March 4th, and we want to let you know about it.
Yeah, happy face minus for me, but it's still worth seeing.
Jennifer Fell Hayes' Rosemary in Time jumps in time between 1943 and 1970s as we see two dirty little girls and a mother more interested in entertaining the soldiers during World War II than entertaining her 8 kids or feeding them. While these past events unfold, we are treated to Rosemary, a school matron in Yorkshire, England, and the school cleaning lady that helps her out, Hilda. They share a rare bond of friendship over tea and biscuits. When Hilda and Rosemary discover they have more in common than working together, it throws everything into turmoil as the past catches up with them. Jennifer Fell Hayes, who comes from Yorkshire, captures the cadence and personality of Yorkshire. It's based on a true incident, which is why it felt like real people talking despite the soap opera elements that add to the drama. Kathy Gale McGowan directed this with such compassion for all the characters, even when you cringed at their behavior. As someone who has spent time in Yorkshire as my boss and roommate when I lived in London, hailed from there, I could really appreciate these characters even more. Rosemary in Time makes you think about family, hard times, and surviving them. This gets a major happy face.
Phoenix Repertoire Theater was presenting the cult play written by Topher Kuzumano, directed by Irene Lazaridis. And it's immersive. You go into the sanctuary of Mother Pearl, and she is the sort of charismatic religious cult leader, and she's having trouble because her brother Charlie Bear has gone renegade, and the group of followers are kind of a mixed bunch of nuts, and it's really overlong, but the whole phenomena of charismatic religion is pretty interesting. I saw it, unfortunately, towards the beginning of the run, and the end was a bit messed up, so I didn't get the best experience of it. I always like Phoenix Rep, and they're coming up in April with Judas, so I gave it a mixed faces minus, or mixed faces, but probably it's a bit better than that.
I went to the New Victory for an autistic-friendly performance of Bromance because I took my autistic neighbor, my neighbor's autistic kid with me. Oh my gosh, he absolutely loved it. He was so excited, and he was like laughing through the whole thing. And so for autistic for people and for the audience and for everyone else, I'm saying happy face. But I gotta say, I just thought they took forever to do anything. They sort of stood around a lot, sniffing each other's armpits and stuff. I don't know, when they did the tumbling and the acrobatics and the wheel thing, that was really impressive. It just took too long to do it in my mind. So, I mean, but there were charming, charismatic kids doing it, and like I say, the audience and Isaac just loved it. I mean, he would give this like the most biggest happy face you ever saw. So this is more for the audience than for me. Musicals and Mufti, continuing with the Julie Stein. They did Bar Mitzvah Boys, and I got to interview Ben Frankenhauser, Casey Watkins, Peyton, Lusk, Darren, Cohen, Annette, Jolles, Lori Wilner, Ned Eisenberg, and Julie Benko.
Ben Frankenhauser at the York Theater, celebrating the Bar Mitzvah Boy opening night.
And you play a real nemesis, don't you?
I do. I play Harold. I play Julie Benko's boyfriend. He's not part of the family, but he wants to be. Oh boy, and he's a nice boy. Really sweet story about coming of age, and I want people to be able to have memories from when they were turning 13, and you know what their experience was when they were coming of age, and perhaps when they were getting bar mitzvah or bat mitzvah, and maybe take a trip down memory lane. It's about family dynamics, and it's a really sweet show.
So, all right, here we are with
Casey.
You get to play the Bar Mitzvah Boy's friend, or are you a friend? Are you a frenemy?
I think I'm a frenemy. I think that he's done something bad to me, so then I think that I have to do something bad to him. So I'm more like somebody who always seeks revenge.
But in a way, your bad deed was a good deed.
Yes, it was, because he ends up actually, like, his sister ends up helping him. Songs are, like, really a lot of stress about the bar mitzvah, putting the bar mitzvah together. And especially you can see the stress in the beginning song, This Time Tomorrow. Yeah, in the show I'm Christian, and I am Christian. And so, like, it's kind of funny that we believe in two separate things, and it's really comical in the show. I'm like, Jesus, you believe in Jesus.
Nice Jewish boy.
Yes, he is a nice Jewish boy, and you get to understand, like, his aspect being Jewish, because, like, you're a Christian, so you don't know until, like, you see it, and it's kind of cool to see that.
Hi, here we are with
Peyton, Lusk.
And you are the Bar Mitzvah Boy.
The Bar Mitzvah Boy, yeah.
But I think that the show is just about this family, and they're just like a normal family dealing with, you know, their son's bar mitzvah. And I think it's just such a simple, beautiful show, you know what I mean? It's not, you know, a musical with capital M, as our director Annette says, you know? It's really true to itself in the fact that it's something that everyone can relate to, and it's just beautiful. It's awesome. I think that, you know, in the show, Elliot's parents kind of get caught up in, you know, and everything else not related to their son's bar mitzvah, you know what I mean?
The party more than the...
So I think that Elliot stays true to himself in the fact that, like, you know, he understands that he needs to conquer what the bar mitzvah means more than how you look and how you dress and all that stuff.
Here we are with
Darren Cohen.
and Annette, Jolles.
I think the part that I love about this is it's so funny for Jewish people to watch Jewish people killing each other and loving each other from moment to moment. And rather than shunning it, we can actually laugh and cry with them as opposed to being in denial of it. We actually embrace that that's what we do.
Oh yeah, that's...
John brought this piece to my attention when he asked me to do this, and I just instantly fell in love with this little quirky family that reminded me of my own, reminded me of my dad, who's no longer here, but really resonated a lot that way. And I do have two daughters, and they were both bat mitzvahed, so the tradition continues.
It's really, it's like nothing else that's being written anymore. And in a way, I feel like it was, because we don't know it, it was just written. It just sings.
And I think you really feel Julie's heart. You feel his roots, both, you know, being British originally at birth and also being Jewish, and how it infected the music in a way that because of the subject matter, he couldn't do that in any of his other shows to the same extent. So I think it has a lot of heart.
Lori Wilner.
And you play the mama.
I played the mama, Rita Green, in I just think it's an undiscovered gem, or a little known gem. I think that even though it's about a specific ethnic family going through an ethnic ritual, it's very universal, and it says so much about what happens to a family when something important occurs, and the way they deal with it, and the way they go through it. And I mean, I just want everybody to know about this show. The score is gorgeous, like mind-blowingly gorgeous. It's funny, it's moving. Yeah, I just think it needs another production here.
And you had the best number with the kill me number. Oh my God, it killed me.
It's a great number. It's one of those tour de force parts that, you know, I'm not a very showy person in life, but you get to just like balls to the wall with that number.
I know, it's Shakespearean.
Yes. Yeah, I really had fun with that. And Annette is a wonderful director. And so it was really fun to experiment and explore and to work things out with her. I love women directors. I do.
Oh, no, you could tell, because really, and what you accomplished in 34 hours is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. We had one day we just learned music. The second day we just read the script and talked about a few things and talked about accents and pronunciations. And then the third day we got up on our feet and tried to muddle through. And these muftis have much more staging than a usual musical reading. So, you know, you have to walk and do choreography, and there's the book, and I can't see so good anymore with my glasses, so there's a lot to maneuver around, navigate. And then the fourth day we put it all together, and the fifth day we had an audience. It's just boom, boom.
And it's seamless. Like we can't tell. We just can't. It's just, to me, it's like ready.
It's magic, right? Magic.
Our winner,
Ned Eisenberg.
and you play the father of the bar mitzvah boy.
Yes, I do. Victor Green, the father of Elliot Green, the husband of Rita Green. The daughter is... Yes, although it's funny, this play is kind of fascinating because I remember feeling the way this kid, the things that this kid expresses, I remember feeling that this was just something to have a party and you're going to get a lot of presents and people are going to give you money. It's like, well, wait a minute, that's not the point of it, is it? It's not really what it's about, is it? Otherwise, and oh, you don't really have to understand what you're saying. You're going to learn it by rote. There was a lot of that. So this play was very much on the nose about that particular time in the 70s and yeah. God, I want him to have a wonderful time. It's a joyous ride. It really is. Very touching, and the familial connections, and it's just it's a terrific piece. I had never read it, heard it, and not many people have.
Julie Benko.
And you play the really wonderful sister. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's a really nice relationship with you know, with my little brother. And I think one of the things about Leslie that's so sweet, even though she's a bit prim and proper and prissy in a way with her boyfriend, she's actually the one who like saves the day. She's the one who gets Elliot to where he needs to be and gets everyone to listen to each other. So she's really, really a great character. And I think by the end she actually comes to appreciate Harold and starts to see what it means to be grown up in a relationship. I think she learns from her younger brother what it means to be grown up.
oh, yeah, it's like in a way, as he's becoming a grown-up, it's like, it makes you think, oh, wait a minute, because you never thought about it before. It's just something you just do without thinking.
Right. I think it's a really sweet musical about how we change each other and make each other better as we grow older.
And the whole family.
I mean, I really think that this show is so sweet and deserves to have a life beyond this. And I think more people should hear it, and they're just going to be totally charmed by it. And I'd love for the music to be more known by the broader audience, I think. And the music is so hummable. It's toe tapping. It's like we're all backstage like dancing to the numbers, you know. And I think that I hope people will come away saying we want to hear more of this music.
Oh, I know. I was actually chair dancing while it was going on.
Yeah, I mean, nobody writes a song like Julie Stein.
You know, it's so melodic, and it just makes you want to move.
I went to Theater for the New City to see Josh, the Black Babe Ruth. It's all about the Negro League. It was Josh and Satchel Paige and their friendly rivalry, and they're both desperate to get into the majors. But of course, you know, back then it was like so segregated and terrible. And there was a panel discussion afterwards with the historians and everything. It's just a really interesting time in history and well worth catching.
Mark forgot to give his review of Fire and Air. Terrence McNally explores Serge Diaghilev, his entourage, and his love for Nijinsky. Interesting cultural history for material, but not the best dramatic presentation. Elegant production. He gives it a mixed face plus. Now where to find the shows mentioned on High Dramas and shows we hope to see. And bigger reviews are on the Facebook page, of course. A New Brain, William Finns as a No-No Boy. Hoping to see those. Koalas Are Dicks, I love the title. American Songbook ends with a bang with Kelly O'Hara and Juliet Ovenden. York Theater with Subways Are for Sleeping. And Musicals Tonight is back with Boys from Syracuse and Anything Goes, and Lyrics and Lyricists at 92nd Street Y with Lenny Bernstein. Theater for the New City is having their benefit Fidget Festival is back, and I'm going to put this all on the Facebook page because there's no time, and 54 Below always has great stuff. And Pollock is at Abrams Art Center. 59 59th Street has 3 really good plays. Kiefer Sutherland and Kai Penn, Designated Survivor at 92nd Street Y. The Talking Band at Here. John Kelly at La Mama. Oh, at the Wild Project, I forgot to mention Spaceman. And Gertrude Stein is This Is the Color Described by Time at the Flea. And Platinoff is Blessed Unrest at New Ohio. And Parody Productions, these are what they're recommending. Some of them we've seen and reviewed. Metropolitan Playhouse is doing A Marriage Contract. High Noon, the Gary Cooper film, is on at the Axis. And these are plays we reviewed that you can find on our Facebook page. And don't forget that to pick up your Performing Arts Insider, the Cultural Heartbeat of New York City. Our next show is March 3rd. And go to the Facebook page where you'll find even more details and Twitter and everything else. And the whole show is always on the Facebook page. And the complete interviews from the Musicals and Muftis is on the Facebook page. I went by so fast, forgot to mention National Ubu Bake Off Monday, February 19th, all over town.